World's greatest contradiction. James Forslind. World's greatest contradiction. James Forslind.
We'll slip that podium aside there. Fellow Toastmasters, I've got a story for you. It's a very personal story. It starts off like this. A young man is backpacking his way through Europe shortly after being expelled from college. He walks into a pub in Ireland, and he notices there's only 2 people in this pub. So he walks to the bar and he orders a pint of Guinness. And he sits quietly. And the man sitting at the bar next to him jumps to his feet and he says, "You see that bar? I built that bar with my own 2 hands. I claimed the wood from a virgin forest of my great country, and I brought it here, and I hewn it, and I loved it, and I cared for it more than my own son." And then he says, "Out that window, do you see that stone wall? I picked each stone one by one from all 4 corners of this great county, and I placed them just so in the rain and the wind. But am I remembered as James Radley, the great wall builder? No! Out that window, do you see the pier on the lake? I built that pier with my own hands. I placed each piling one by one against the wind and the waves and the tide. But do they remember me as James Radley, the great dock builder? No! But if you get caught with your pants down behind a goat, my mother had a saying for me. She told me, "James, go ahead and do whatever you're going to do, because you're going to go ahead and do it anyways." Which reminds me of a great story. A Clash of the Titans. At 13 years old, I had pretty much decided all the adults in my life wanted to raise me just like them. But I wasn't going to let that happen. I was going to be my own man. I'll never forget the sound of walking through that door. 2.5 hours! 2.5 hours! That was my father. And that was the sound of him raging across the family room and tackling me, BAM! Right into the solar plex. And I dropped to my knees. Let the beating begin. And he hit me. And he hit me so hard, it knocked the ego right out of me. And he hit me again. Well, it felt a lot like the first hit. And then the third, and then the fourth. And he was going to make an impression. But somewhere around the 5th and the 6th, it came to me. This isn't hurting so much. Not only was it not hurting, but I started laughing. I started laughing, and what did he do? He started laughing also. He's like, "I'm gonna beat some," and he just started laughing, and we both stepped up and looked at each other, and he said, "I'm sorry, because I didn't recognize what was happening." You see, Patrick was born in an orphanage in Midland, Texas. He didn't know his parents. He had to raise himself. And at that moment, I believe he saw himself in me. That sense of independence and that drive and desire to create your own and to be your own man. What did my mother say? She said, James, go ahead and do whatever you're going to do, because you're going to go ahead and do it anyways. I had, at that moment, reached a point in a relationship with a man the likes I'd never had before. At that point, I realized I had reached a point in my own life, a point I'd never been before, a point of self-expression, of becoming a man, and looking another man in the eye and saying, I understand you. My father passed away when I was 18 years old. To say the very least, he was the light of my life. He gave me a sense of what it was to be a man. He gave me a sense of what it was to stand on your own 2 feet when the world is spanking you, when the world is driving you down, and to get up and laugh, and to find the humor in it, and to realize what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So I guess the joke's on me. The story's really not about contradiction, except life is the greatest contradiction. It's about sharing the voice and the love for my father. The only real contradiction today is he's not here to share that. That his life and his voice has to live on in me. Madam Toastmaster.